Yeah, I just wanted to say to everyone that was exposed to that bombing that happened last Saturday, definitely have my condolences, and I hope everyone gets well soon. It was definitely a tragic situation, but I feel like because of all of the things that are going on in the world right now, and I don't want to seem insensitive, it's just like, man, it's overload. And all the stuff is on the internet too. I mean, not internet, the news. So it's like, it's every minute, and I do feel like New Yorkers are kind of like a little bit distant from it, and understandably so, because come on, man, it's like, how much can people take? They have their lives and they've got to continue living, and thank God for the news, thank God for the media that actually connects you to what's going on in the world. But at the same time, do we got to know about every tragedy? I mean, it's just, it's overwhelming. So at a certain point, I feel like you just have to filter it, and that's what I do. I don't let it in my home. A lot of times I don't watch the news, and I don't watch it simply because I can't handle it all. You know what I mean? It becomes debilitating. You come home after a hard day's work, last thing you want to hear about is everyone's tragedies. You know what I mean? It's like I've got problems of my own. Selfish? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is selfish. I'm not sure. But it's survival, and I know my limits. I know my limits, and I think it's important to know your limits. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I can't handle this. This I can handle, that I cannot. So the media is doing what they're in the business of doing, which is telling the news and making money. And what that means is telling all the news all the time. And they know how and what their ratings are, what rates the best for them, and a lot of times it's tragedy. So that's what they run with. So you just get an earful of it. So a lot of times I just don't watch it. There's nothing against people that do. They like to watch it. That's fine. Personally, I just don't. So I avoid it. Wow, these streets are super bad. I mean, when are they going to fix these things? These things have been this way for a long time. I'm like, when are they going to fix these streets, man? And people, I know they're contracted to fix the streets. They just take their sweet time because they're making money. Sheesh. These people pay so much rent around here, and their streets are like this. It's crazy. Explosion, this bombing on these different bombs over the last, in New York around 24th Street, 23rd Street, and in Jersey also. So it's kind of one of those things where people are kind of freaked out about it, and the news is milking it. But I'm a New Yorker. I've been here for all my life, really. And whoa, it's crazy, dude. Bugged out. Yeah, I've been here all my life, and I remember when New York was a lot crazier than it is, with all the terrorism and everything. There was just crime all over the place. People were getting jacked, they were getting robbed, and you know, there were gangs. You didn't go to certain places. You didn't go to the Bronx, certain areas around 42nd Street. And I was talking to some of my friends about this and clients about this, that, you know, you just didn't go to certain areas at a certain hour. You just knew that as, you know, as a New Yorker, you just knew that. And yeah, it was crazy. 42nd Street looked nothing like it looks now. There were prostitutes all over the place. All of the shows that were there were kung fu movies and pornos. That's what 42nd Street looked like. It was nuts. And there were prostitutes out in broad daylight offering their services to lonely individuals, lonely people, misguided people. And so that was New York. That was the state of affairs, and it was filthy. I mean, dirt was flying in the streets. There were dirt storms, like literally dirt was like flying in the streets, in the air between the buildings. Dirt like newspaper, paper bags. It was just, that was commonplace. It would just, there was like a storm just of dirt on the regular. That was New York, and people knew that. So, you know, when I look at this, the way things, you know, these little, the bomb and stuff like that, and the terrorism and people, you know, the crime that we deal with now, it's kind of like, yeah, it's not good, that's for sure. It's definitely bad, but you know, New York has seen bad, and New York, it's not anything new. That's all I'm saying. It's nothing new. It's just kind of things returning back to some of those things, some of those chickens coming home to roost, in a way, if you want to say that. But I'm not trying to make light of it though, guys. I mean, it's horrible. There's no doubt about that. It's horrible. It is a sad state of affairs. But that is the world we live in. There's no doubt about that. It's not a utopian society. And that is what's going on. It's a bit crazy on the streets right now. It's a bit nuts. People are a little erratic. That dude made that crazy left turn just a minute ago. This guy is flipping out. I believe that crazy is like the weather. It's you know, they're like crazy storms that float around the city, and it's like if you're trained to see them, you can spot them and avoid them. It's like, oh, there's a crazy cloud over there, be careful, we're having some crazy showers. Storm crazy is 2 blocks away, avoid it. it's also contagious. I think crazy is contagious. It's like, you know, you can give it to people. I've been a carrier, you know. I've definitely been a carrier of crazy. I am certainly a carrier at times. Uh-oh. This whole thing, entry onto this thing is always sketchy. Unless you're at the front. That was a lackluster entry. Oh, I don't want to do that.